Hello everybody, this is Sense of Fate, and while I was browsing Reddit this morning, I found this article on EuroGamer stating EA cans Dead Space series following poor sales of Dead Space 3 report. And it's basically saying that EA has canned the Dead Space series, and that Dead Space 4 will be ceased to be developed after having terrible sales in the Dead Space 3 market. Now, this should come as no surprise for anybody, considering the fact that Dead Space 3 featured controversial microtransactions and the fact that it's on Origin only, which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, since EA thinks that Origin is so much better than Steam, which they're wrong. And, okay, so we have to talk about the microtransactions. Personally, in my opinion, I think microtransactions are a wonderful thing, if used correctly. Like in games like League of Legends, in World of Warcraft, or in, I can't think of another free-to-play game, but let's just use League of Legends. Microtransactions in a game like League of Legends, where it's free-to-play, basically gives the consumer the option to fork out money to, I don't know, give them a small advantage, say of some sort. Like, you can get an IP boost, you can get an experience boost if you're still pre-level 30, or you can just buy skins for aesthetic purposes. I think aesthetics for microtransactions is one of the coolest ways to, say, support a developer. But in the fact of Dead Space 3, where it's a single-player campaign, microtransactions in the style that Dead Space does it, which is extra resources such as ammo or ways to make weapons throughout the game, I feel it's kind of curious, to be honest. I remember a long time ago EA had this report saying that they needed to sell like 4 million, 5 million copies of Dead Space in order to make up for the cost of the game, which is a ridiculous amount. I mean, that's quite ludicrous. And I guess the way that they thought of to close the gap was to make controversial, they wouldn't want to make this controversial, but just microtransactions to close the gap. And what happened was, the fact that they had the microtransactions in the first place, I feel backfired. A lot of people boycotted the game. People wanted to vote with their wallets and say that they did not want to purchase Dead Space 3. And this is what happened. Honestly, I was actually kind of surprised that I did not hear a single word about pirating, because that's usually what big publishers like this and Ubisoft go back on to say, that if a franchise or a certain game does terribly, it's because of pirating. So this brings up the thought that EA just killed off Medal of Honor a couple months ago because of how terrible that Warfighter did, and now Dead Space 3 is down the trash can as well. So what does that leave us with? EA basically has Battlefield, which is doing well, kind of, but we will see with Battlefield 4. We now have Crysis, which, in my opinion, is more of a niche game and is more of a technical showpiece rather than an actual video game. Let's be honest here. Even though Crysis 3 is pretty good, not to give any crap to Crysis 3, it is a fantastic game. And EA's long line of sports games, specifically FIFA, from what I have read and heard, does actually quite well on the sales charts. So we have those three franchises. Now, the question that will come up is, will EA kill off those franchises if they do terribly? I can't imagine Crysis did too much better than Dead Space 3, but I don't know that. I don't have any sales figures or numbers in front of me, so I can't make that call. And now we have Battlefield, which, in my opinion, is going in a direction that people don't really want to see it in, but I can't talk to the entire Battlefield community. I haven't been there since Bad Company 2, so. EA, you keep killing off your franchises when they suck. So what's going to happen when your other franchises start to suck as well? Because what seems to be happening is that the entire internet's against you. Your business practices suck. Origin sucks. The fact that you keep putting out these stupid ideas like having microtransactions and possibly influencing other publishers to follow the same suit. That might not happen anymore because Dead Space 3 went down the drain, but like these kinds of business practices have to stop from you guys. And if you guys are going to have any chance in the next couple of years, you guys are going to have to shape up. So, this is just my personal analysis on EA shutting down Dead Space. This is Sense of Fate, signing off.